The addition of the Purge Troopers to Operation Knightfall alongside the 501st Legion would have fundamentally reshaped the execution and legacy of one of the most pivotal moments in galactic history. Operation Knightfall, the assault on the Jedi Temple, marked the culmination of Darth Sidious's long-laid plans to eliminate the Jedi Order and solidify his rule as Emperor. The Purge Troopers, specialized units designed specifically for hunting Jedi, would have brought a precision and ruthlessness to the operation that even the elite 501st could not fully achieve on their own. The 501st Legion, known as Vader's Fist, had already distinguished itself as a highly effective military unit. During the operation, their role was to overwhelm the Jedi Temple through sheer force, using their extensive combat training and superior numbers to neutralize resistance. While the 501st's success was unquestionable, the inclusion of the Purge Troopers would have introduced a new level of tactical efficiency and psychological warfare to the assault. Unlike the regular clone troopers of the 501st, Purge Troopers were specifically equipped and trained to counter the unique abilities of Force users. Armed with specialized weapons such as electrostaffs, shock grenades, and other anti-Jedi gear, their presence would have been a deliberate measure to ensure the operation's total success, particularly against the more powerful Jedi Masters and Knights within the Temple. The Purge Troopers' training and armament would have allowed them to neutralize Jedi in ways that regular troopers could not. Where the 501st relied on overwhelming firepower and numbers, the Purge Troopers' expertise in close-quarters combat would have been critical in engaging and defeating Jedi who attempted to fight back. They would likely have operated in smaller, highly coordinated squads, targeting Jedi Masters or other high-priority individuals within the Temple. This level of precision would have complemented the brute force of the 501st, creating a two-pronged assault that would have overwhelmed even the most well-prepared defenders. From a psychological perspective, the sight of Purge Troopers advancing alongside the 501st would have been devastating for the Jedi. Already reeling from the shock of the sudden betrayal of the clones, the Jedi within the Temple would have been further demoralized by the presence of soldiers explicitly designed to counter their abilities. The knowledge that the Empire had prepared for their extermination on such a detailed level would have added an element of despair to the Jedi's resistance. This psychological edge would have made the Purge Troopers not just effective combatants but also instruments of fear, amplifying the terror and confusion of the moment. In the larger context of the Star Wars narrative, the introduction of Purge Troopers during Operation Knightfall would have underscored the meticulous planning and resourcefulness of Darth Sidious. It would have shown that the Sith had not only anticipated the Jedi's strengths but had also actively worked to counter them for years. The existence of the Purge Troopers would have suggested that the Sith had been planning the downfall of the Jedi Order far longer and in far greater detail than previously understood. Their deployment during Operation Knightfall would have been the ultimate proof of the Sith's readiness to assume total control of the galaxy. The tactical effectiveness of the Purge Troopers would have also altered the course of the battle itself. During the assault, the Jedi managed to put up significant resistance despite being outnumbered and caught off guard. The inclusion of the Purge Troopers would have likely tipped the balance even further in favor of the Empire. Key figures within the Jedi Order, such as Jedi Masters and highly skilled Knights, might have been taken down more quickly and with fewer losses on the side of the 501st. The coordinated efforts of the Purge Troopers and the 501st would have created a dynamic where the Jedi were unable to regroup or mount a cohesive defense, instead being picked off systematically and with ruthless efficiency. The aftermath of the operation would have also been different. The inclusion of Purge Troopers would have left a distinct imprint on the battlefield. Their specialized methods of combat, such as the use of electrostaffs and other melee weapons, would have left behind evidence of the Empire's targeted approach to eliminating the Jedi. Survivors or later investigators, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda, would have been confronted with clear signs that the assault was not merely a military operation but an extermination specifically designed to eradicate the Jedi Order. This revelation would have added an additional layer of tragedy to the event, emphasizing the extent to which the Jedi were outmaneuvered and betrayed. The visual and thematic impact of the Purge Troopers would have also been profound. Their dark, foreboding armor, combined with their relentless combat style, would have made them a symbol of the Empire's oppressive power. This imagery would have reinforced the notion of the Jedi as a hunted and endangered group, further highlighting the Empire's dominance and the dire stakes of the galaxy's new reality. The sight of Purge Troopers cutting down Jedi in the hallowed halls of the temple would have been an indelible image, one that underscored the brutal efficiency of the Sith's plan and the magnitude of the Jedi's fall. The legacy of Operation Knightfall, already one of fear and destruction, would have been even darker with the involvement of Purge Troopers. Their presence would have sent a clear message to any remaining Jedi. The Empire was not only prepared to hunt them, but had perfected the means to do so. This would have made the Purge Troopers a lingering threat in the years that followed, a symbol of the Empire's relentless pursuit of Jedi survivors. Their deployment during the assault on the temple would have been the beginning of their role as the Empire's ultimate Jedi hunters, a role they would continue to play in the galaxy-wide purge that followed. The introduction of Purge Troopers during Operation Knightfall would have reverberated beyond the immediate scope of the Jedi Temple assault, influencing the perception and behavior of both the Jedi and the wider galaxy in the aftermath. Survivors of the Jedi Order, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and other scattered Jedi across the galaxy, would have had to adjust their strategies significantly in response to the Purge Troopers' capabilities. Knowledge of these specialized units, designed explicitly to hunt and neutralize Jedi, would have deepened the fear and isolation of the surviving Jedi, forcing them into even greater secrecy and caution. For the Jedi, the Purge Troopers would have represented a new kind of enemy, one that was not merely a soldier following orders, but a hunter bred to counter their unique abilities. The remaining Jedi would have been forced to adapt their fighting styles and methods of survival. Confronting Purge Troopers would have required not only skill but also creativity, as traditional Jedi combat techniques might have been anticipated and countered. This adaptation would have been a testament to the Jedi's resilience, but also a sign of their desperation as they faced an increasingly hostile galaxy. The Purge Troopers' presence during Operation Knightfall would have also had significant implications for the political landscape of the galaxy. Their involvement would have signaled to the galaxy at large that the Empire was not merely removing the Jedi for political reasons but was committed to their total eradication. The propaganda surrounding the Jedi Purge often painted the Jedi as traitors who attempted to overthrow the Republic, justifying the Empire's actions as a necessary measure for peace and security. However, the use of specialized units like the Purge Troopers would have hinted at a level of premeditation that could not easily be explained away. For those who paid attention, it would have raised questions about the legitimacy of the Empire's narrative and the true nature of its intentions. For the general population of the galaxy, the Purge Troopers would have become an enduring symbol of the Empire's strength and ruthlessness. To the average citizen, their dark and imposing figures would have epitomized the Empire's readiness to deal with any threat, reinforcing the idea that resistance was futile. The fear they inspired would have extended beyond the Jedi, serving as a warning to any individuals or groups considering rebellion against the new regime. The psychological impact of their presence, combined with the horror of the Jedi Temple massacre, would have contributed to the atmosphere of oppression and control that defined the early years of the Empire. The legacy of the Purge Troopers would have also been reflected in the way the Jedi Purge unfolded in the years following Operation Knightfall. As the Empire consolidated its power, Purge Troopers would have become a key component of the Inquisitorious efforts to hunt down and eliminate Jedi survivors. Their participation in the initial assault on the Jedi Temple would have set the stage for their role as relentless enforcers of the Empire's will, cementing their place in the machinery of the Sith's grand design. On a thematic level, the inclusion of Purge Troopers in Operation Knightfall would have deepened the tragedy of the Jedi's fall. The Jedi, once revered as protectors of peace and justice, would have been reduced to fugitives hunted by enemies who had been created specifically to destroy them. This dynamic would have highlighted the extent of the Sith's triumph and the depth of the Jedi's defeat. The image of Purge Troopers standing amidst the ruins of the Jedi Temple, their armor glinting in the fires of destruction, would have been a haunting reminder of the cost of the Jedi's hubris and the price of their failure to foresee the Sith's return. In the broader narrative of Star Wars, the involvement of Purge Troopers in Operation Knightfall would have added a layer of complexity to the Empire's rise. It would have emphasized the meticulousness of Darth Sidious's plans and the lengths to which he went to ensure the Jedi's eradication. This attention to detail would have underscored the Sith's cunning and resourcefulness, providing a stark contrast to the Jedi's complacency and overconfidence. In conclusion, the revelation of Purge Troopers alongside the 501st Legion during Operation Knightfall would have transformed the event into an even more devastating and symbolically charged moment in galactic history. Their presence would have reinforced the Empire's narrative of control and dominance, while deepening the tragedy and horror of the Jedi's fall. The Purge Troopers' involvement would have demonstrated the Sith's unparalleled foresight and the extent of their hatred for the Jedi, leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy and shaping the course of the Star Wars saga for generations to come.